It's only my opinion. Coffee milk.
Welcome, people. Welcome to the show. My name is Clayon. This is Coffee Milk. This week, guys, I've been thinking about the word selfish. And the reason why I've been thinking about the word selfish is because of this. This man named Austin Chenge. Austin Chenge. I'm gonna go with Austin Chenge. He's a Nigerian-American and a black Republican who is running for governor of Michigan. And the reason why I want to talk about this individual was because he said something extremely selfish. He said that he, and this is from his Twitter account, I believe. He says, I will cancel hashtag Black History Month in Michigan. It's offensive, unfair, maybe illegal. When I read the tweet, the word that popped in my mind was selfish. Lacking consideration for others, concerned chiefly with one's own personal profit or pleasure. Selfish. This week, I've also been listening to a lot of Malcolm X interviews that he had on television. And for me, some of the most disappointing things, even though Malcolm says a lot of really empowering things, one of the most disappointing things was the infighting between him and Martin Luther King. I didn't like it because I felt like it didn't help what they both wanted in the end, which was freedom for their people, the ability for their people to be able to get proper jobs, to have homes that are not infested with vermins and bugs and cockroaches and all that. And the fact that they fought amongst each other through that time when they should have joined forces. I didn't like that. But the reason I brought that up is because this is the time when we, as black people, we don't need people like Austin. We should be fighting together. We should be working together. We shouldn't be trying to impress our oppressors. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You're basically fighting to be a puppet for people who don't like you. And it's, I guess some people try to get their goals by like any means necessary. But how does that feed your soul? Like, how does someone who sells out their own people, how do they go to bed? How do they wake up in the morning and feel content with all their actions? We should be working together. We shouldn't be trying to impress people who don't really care. They want to see stuff like that. They want to see you as a black man delegitimize Black History Month. Because that's what they constantly do every year. And there's always someone like you or that principal who thought it would be a good idea for her slogan to be All Lives Matter on Black History Month. what's the deal with these little small pockets of black people that want to sort of impress their oppressors, that wanna feel like, is it sort of a superior game? Like they want to feel like they're superior, or they feel like they're superior and they're not of the race, or maybe someone in the race did something horrible to them or something, and then they now connect that with all black people, they now generalize or whatever. But it's, in my mind, I constantly think, I'm like, who hurt you as an individual for you to hate yourself so much? For you to put down Black History Month? As a person that comes from a black continent, you're Nigerian-American, how do you then come to a country where you are the minority, but to get power, you put down your people instead of working with your people and trying to maybe empower your people, or get your people a better opportunity? You'd rather get yourself an opportunity. And when you say things like it's offensive, what's offensive about a month that we as Black Americans get to sort of highlight the people and champion the people who helped to get this country to where it is, who have helped this country progress in many ways? What's offensive or unfair about that? And then when you said Americans from all backgrounds deserve a revered history. First of all, I don't know what reverve is. I'm gonna look that up right now. What the hell is reverve? Reverve means to feel deep respect and admiration. Deep respect and admiration. So America from all backgrounds deserve a revered history. So okay, I agree with you. Americans from all backgrounds do deserve a revered history. If you mean a deep feeling and respect and admiration, yes, right. That's why we have Black History Month. So Americans from all backgrounds deserve a revered history. You're right. That's why we have Black History Month. So that Americans from all background can feel revered. When it's your own kind, it's like when it's your own family member that hurts you, it somehow feels worse. Those individuals that are in our past, that's who helped you get to where you are. Without those people, you wouldn't be where you are right now. I don't think all Black people need to think the same. Clearly we don't. But we shouldn't actively try to make other Black lives worse. Lately, I've been watching a lot of Jamaican news. I've been trying to keep up with all the pandemic information that's happening in Jamaica, because it's everywhere. It's not just here in America, and I have family members in Jamaica, and they're just my people. I love my people, and I'm concerned for my people. I'm concerned with how everything is being handled. I'm concerned with how the government is handling things. I don't think that they're doing a good job. Just like here, just like everywhere in the world, money runs everything. Within the pandemic, tourism has been open. All the hotels are still available, and I get it. Jamaica runs on a tourism economy. That's how we get the bulk of our money. And so it's hard for me to villainize the island and the government for doing that. I still think they should have shut it down, because that's part of being a leader. You have to make tough decisions sometimes for the betterment of the community, even though they might get upset. And I think that, I don't know if they've done that for the most part. Right now, there is new variants all over the place, and there might be a new variant in Jamaica. The one that's from England. Probably not specifically England, but Europe, sorry. So they're going to get a shipment. They're going to get a shipment of the vaccine. So they're trying to establish who they're going to give it to, the importance. I don't know what they call it. I clearly want to call it an importance list, but that's not what it is. Priority list, that's the word. So their health minister, his name is Christopher Tufton, he was on the news in Jamaica, and he said, priority-wise, it's going to go to the health officials, and it's then going to go to police and security and the soldiers. And teachers would not receive any of this current shipment. So they're getting a shipment, and for the first shipment of it, teachers are excluded from the list. And that irritates me a little bit, because through this whole pandemic, even though in the beginning, Jamaica wasn't getting as much, not a lot of people, not as much people were dying there. But it was still, rampant. So they opened schools back up, which for me is just a dumb idea. Even in America, I think when you opening up schools is not a smart idea, because there's the air circulation. There's not good ventilation. There's not a lot of good ventilation for schools in America. If I'm so concerned about America and the kids in America, and America has way much more money than Jamaica, has so much more money than Jamaica. There's no possible way that Jamaican schools had the proper ventilations for them to be open. But nonetheless, they opened up in-person learning. And they had to quickly start to close down schools because kids got sick. And they didn't close down all the schools. It's just whatever school happens to get a positive COVID test from a student or whatever, then they would shut it down. But the thing is, if you are going to ask teachers to be in a small room for hours on top of hours with kids from all over the island, how do you not make them a priority? How do you make soldiers and police, who I do understand have interactions with people, but a lot of the times it's outside in the open. It doesn't make sense to prioritize people who do the majority of their job outside, and then put people who work in closed environments with a lot of people lower. It just doesn't make any sense. I totally understand that you be in a small developing country, you have limited resources when it comes to certain things, and especially when it comes to the pandemic. I understand that. But I think if you're not going to put teachers up on the priority list, then you should get rid of in-person classes. It only makes sense. Sometimes you can't have your cake in the icing and everything. You have to limit. You have to understand. I think being a leader sometimes is understanding what you can do and what you can't do. So if you're not going to prioritize them, then you can't continue to put them in a dangerous situation where they might come into contact and then get COVID. And you're in a developing country, and not saying that Jamaican healthcare system isn't good, but it isn't up to par. It isn't when there's severe burn cases in Jamaica. They have to ship the individual to America to get treatment. They don't even have a proper burn unit. Right now, the hospitals are pretty much at like 90% capacity because of the uptick in COVID cases. Jamaicans always talk about their God, and they're always so religious. It's a very religious Christian country, but when it comes to compassion, sometimes I feel like we lack that compassion sometimes, and it doesn't make sense to me for us being such a really Christian ass island. I don't think we prioritize our people.
You might not agree, it's cool. I'm one of a kind.
Anyways, probably gonna keep
I move forward, so I gotta be progressive. Gotta make sure everything I say is selective. It's only my opinion. Coffee milk.